Hello and welcome to this new video here in Charente in Rufec on the concession park. And today we have a little nugget behind me, a Freedom 541. So you saw us recently present the Affinity brand, so a Polish brand with an enhanced premium vehicle. For those who haven't seen the video, go see it now because the car is just beautiful. But here we will introduce you to his little brother, or cousin as we like to call him. So the Freedom, which is also part of the Affinity brand. So Affinity is two brands in the end, Affinity and Freedom. And today we are going to present you the Freedom really with a layout that changes, with a manufacturer, who listens to customers, a manufacturer who is also updating, and we will see it right away. We will start from the outside, but stay well, because the most impressive is the inside. But we will attack immediately outside. Here we are on the Fiat chassis, so there are several variants in the Freedom 541. So 541 is the vehicle length, 5M41. We're presenting the Fiat with 120 horses. There are options with 140, 180, manual and automatic, detailed later. Exterior features include flush tinted windows and an electric step. So it's classic for a van with a sliding door. The exterior is very sober, just the Freedom logo, the Freedom name and the logo. The purpose of this van, you will certainly have understood, is to have a rather discreet vehicle and goes everywhere. Electrical outlet, so to recharge the 220. It is also a first on the chain. We present the new carriers. You will see it on the front, new logo behind the Fiat logo. And there are some changes on these new carriers. Therefore carriers 2025 glass rear door. So with two windows up there, we see at the stoplight we have the reversing camera at the bumper. Yes, the reversing radars. Left part and well, always our Freedom logo filling for clean water, our Truma. So we are equipped with a Truma Combi, heating, water heater, the toilet cassette. You really see it has one. Another form of habit, the cassette is a little further back, etc. No window on the left side. You don't worry about the brightness. We still have the skylights at the top. We'll see what it does in terms of brightness. Once you are inside, the fuel and additive start to bleed, and then you fall back on the front of the vehicle. So where there have been a lot of changes, especially in the bumpers, so the lower part. You could see, the new Ducato, approach, new front bumpers restyled. Tell us also in the comments if you prefer 7 front faces or the old front face, and then there we will move inside. So welcome to the cabin. You probably know Fiat, what you don't know is Freedom. So the Freedom in fact is a vehicle with a separation partition between the night part, we will say, or the day part, and the driving part. So here we will find the front of a more or less classic utility, then necessarily with more or less options. So here we see a new steering wheel with the Fiat logo. That's for 2025. We're used to flying commandos, no worries, no Storpisse cabin. So for the simple and good reason, why not Storpisse cabin? Well, because since we don't have the brightness of the windshield in the day part, we don't have the need for it. As we said, here we are on a mechanical gearbox, but as an option we have vehicles controllable in an auto gearbox. the multimedia on it with the rear view camera. We also see the part here of the sensors, where in particular we will see everything that is automatic ignition of the headlights and windshield wipers. But at the end of the video, we will remind you of all the options that this vehicle has, and we will give you the price of the model that you are currently seeing. And of course, well, the highlight of the show on the Freedom is the 3-seater bench. So we will have the possibility of taking 3 people on the front part, or if we are only 2, well, to be able to ask small business in the middle. And here we go. So inside, now that we've seen the cabin, and there we can already note a clear step foot. A clear difference with what we are used to seeing, where we are, what we are used to present to you. Because there, well, we actually have a kitchen, which is at the back of the cabin. The cabin is closed. You saw that inside that we presented the cabin, so we really have the living space, which is partitioned in relation to the front of the vehicle. We saw this style of vehicle appear at the level of developers. Many but few manufacturers went there. Well, there at Freedom, you have a builder who goes in this style of layout there. In terms of cuisine, what does it offer? A plate underneath, a gas plate. Under the plate we have an extension of the worktop to be able to put things, etc. and cook here just below our refrigerator. Therefore domestic compression refrigerator with a double opening, therefore the door. I can very well open it from here when I'm inside, but if you ever eat out. In addition, we are right in front of the sliding door, so it is super easy to access. We have double access. At the level of low storage, so we have 3 drawers, so a first good one. At Freedom we will tell them that we must put covered ranges for France 2nd and 3rd, so rather space in a drawer. You can see 120 here. If we go up a little here, we have our sink with the mixer. The multiplayer, enough. The sink is deep, the faucet is pretty well placed. Namely, that the whole kitchen, so that's wood, that you see there is there. If you have the opportunity to come to the dealership to weigh, the wood is real oak, so we have something qualitative on top, a metro square trim. The lighting, and up there again closets. For the closets that are at the top, they actually exploited the cap. Normally we have a small storage on the other usual vans, so there they exploited the depth of the cap. So we really have something that is voluminous. You see, we can go and put things at the top. Of course, the door is equipped with a mosquito net, and what is really pleasant, in fact, is the space we have. Here we remind ourselves, we are in a 5M41, so usually the 5M41, it makes a little corridor effects or something. We feel a little tight there. It's not the case at all. And we actually have a beautiful view of the outside. And even when cooking, we are really focused on the outside. We can see in terms of quality, there are dressings that are made there. Fabric covering, all around the mosquito net. We do not leave the sheet directly visible. We have wooden covering on the upper part and a vehicle which in the end, even if on the outside you saw it, there are few openings, so few windows. We have skylights, and that makes the vehicle rather bright. In addition, you have seen inside the furniture is white, so it makes a very bright vehicle. So the rear part is the part which will serve us both to sleep and eat, so we will immediately see the bed part. So the bed is a sliding system, So here we have a bed which is made for 2. So it's very simple. We pull, we slide, we take the mattress, we push it, and we have our bed. For 2 people, access is rather simple to the bed, since you can actually use the small benches at the bottom to climb. So I'm going to have something relatively easy, and there I have a bed for 2 people. Stay tuned at the end of the video because we're going to give you all the dimensions, both the dimensions of the beds and both the dimension, everything, McDonald's, etc. So there we see there is room, and I can sleep in both directions to put the bed back in place, we will say in heavy mode. Very simple, we pull, pop, and we come back, and the lower part and our part. Living room, you will also see it makes the 3rd bed. You saw it in the cabin. We are still in 3 places with registration card. So this vehicle is intended for 3 people, 3 places, registration card, 3 beds. So therefore the table, so I simply actually pull my little table here, super easy. I just have to push it back when it serves me more, so that's practical, and immediately we attack the 3rd bed. So for the low space, in fact the low bed, the device is rather simple to set up. We remove this cushion, we pull the system to its maximum. There is a small hatch that will open. I open my little hatch here, so I can get the same cushion I removed earlier. So it has a meaning, the meaning, it's like this hop. And there I have my 3rd bed. So you see there is a small niche for the feet. And in the same way, we will give you the dimension of the bed. The small niche, precisely, it is made for Ben when it's an adult or something we need to set foot there. If it's children, they don't necessarily need it. The size of the bed will be enough for them. And at the limit, if it's children, we can also push back like that. We don't have the small niche. We can always sleep like that because they will have the length, and at the limit, even if I have the bed pulled up. It makes them a little bit of a small cabin. They will certainly be very happy, and we see that it is super easy to set up at the level of storage on the lower part. So we will see a storage here, rather large, deep in any case, the small niche right next to it. Another storage which will be underneath there. So that's also where we have gas fans, but next door. And of course that makes a storage, and a little storage again right here. So this is for the storage, which is on the lower living room part. For storage, because it is important on a 541. Well, to have storage, because often, well, small vehicles, it gains less storage. The dash I just gave you is not good. This is a lot of space for a vehicle that is quite short. So already wardrobe knows something that exists. The 2 little on a 5M41, so they're, well, big strong point for the Speedlum. After, of course, at the top, we have all the storage. Here we see that we have a small niche. I like the logo Sweet Home in wood, in relief. It's super nice storage and more storage. We see just now, I did not mention it, but of course a small spot of light for the 2 people who sleep in the top bed. Socket 220 USB socket. So we have a USB Type-C, and we will have in the living room a USB Type-C. At the heating level we have the Truma control, so Linette X for heating, and we can see the control panel is just above, so at the limit. The control panel is the Truma accessible both from the living room and from the bed. When I have the bed extension, I can very easily change the temperature. And that is rather an advantage. It allows you to lower the temperature when you sleep, and in the morning to be able to get up, sometimes raise it a little when it's cold. For the brightness part, what we said, so we have a boarding school, so a 700 by 500. We will say between the living room and the bedroom, a 40-40 in the kitchen. You will see in the bathroom we also have a boarding school. That makes it a rather bright vehicle. The furniture is white, but despite everything, it doesn't feel like a hospital inside either. We really have a harmony between grey, white and the wood part. And frankly, Ben, it's quite surprising. We wanted to talk to you about insulation because it's important in a van, insulation, whatever it is. We know that people today leave with their vehicles both in summer and in winter, so both in summer and winter. We're going to need good insulation. So how are Freedom then constructed at the level of isolation? Exterior on the roof wall part, we will have a flex weapon, so it has something that we know well. Flex gun in 20 millimeters. So it is certainly today one of the most efficient insulators compared to what is asked of it. The flex gun. Also note that the doors are insulated. This is also a long debate in a van. We have a lot of brands that do not insulate the doors, whether it is the sliding door or the rear doors. So they are isolated. The doors at the floor level, we are going to have a styrofoam floor. So that's a bit like the camping floors so we are going to see 2 layers with styrofoam. I am under the bed in the cargo area. So a cargo area that is already generous in terms of width height, because you can see that I am actually sitting in the cargo area and my head is just at the level of the bed on the width. There is a small part where they exploited the full width of the vehicle, and it is also a place where we will find the technical parts, especially the electrical part. And here again we sold the electric part on the Affinity, so the big brother of the Freedom. Well, it's the same, Same factory, same manufacturer. So with something that is wired all clean with the boxes well aligned. We also see a ventilation grill on the electrical part to avoid overheating. Here we have access between the habitable part and the suit, so that if we ever want to put lengths or other. I also think of people who have animals, whether dogs or others. If we ever wanted to put the little basket on them and they could have front and rear access, and well, that would also be possible. And behind me we will find the trunk for the gas bottle. Equipped with a single control from Truma. So to know that there we are planned for a large gas bottle, we have heating which by default is gas, but a possible option at the factory to switch it to combined. You will see anyway on the list of options we have many possible things. The battery, for example, is an original gel battery. You can also switch it to a lithium battery. So what we were saying, heating gas with diesel, we have possibilities. And here is housed precisely our battery, which by default is a GEL battery, we said. And for those who asked the question, we have the small lights, a lighting on each side in the suite part. It's even very well lit. And we also have a 12-volt socket. The shower and toilet part, so the door, that is just at the end of the kitchen. On the left side of the vehicle, we will have a storage in the upper part with a mirror, so storage that always uses the cap part. So as for the kitchen, we went deep to look for the volume that is in the cap to avoid dead volumes at the shower. Well, here I am on the part where we can wash. In fact, we see the Ted Ford, so the Ted Ford toilet, the bench toilet. This is the mode. It's the bench mode with we have the big cassette. Even the adults are satisfied, because at the level of the legs, we have the dimension for the sink part. We just have to pull here, and we have a sink that unfolds. That's like Affinity, It's the same technique as Affinity with the faucets right behind it. And for those wondering, for the shower, we have our own shower mixer. It looks nice, all in all black. That's quite nice. Everything is made of water tile coating, so we see here it's shiny, we have a shiny plastic coating, so we can really, even if it's wet on this part there, that part there is no problem. We have a curtain that will only be used to hide the door to prevent water from actually passing between the door seals. So the curtain is really only on a single rail. It doesn't go around us, eh? It's really only mounted on one rail. And of course we close the door, we go to the bathroom. And the last important point, we talked about it earlier. The vehicle is equipped with a skylight in the shower. Because otherwise we don't have a window, eh? You saw on the left side, so we have a skylight at the top. Who is at the same time a ventilated surfer. So we have the small Fiamma fan, both to blow inside or extract the juice. So in numbers, our Freedom 541. So they're the vehicle that we filmed you. It is 2L 220 horsepower, manual transmission, 3-ton 3 chassis, and it leaves a payload of 450 kilos. It is in 3 places, registration and 3 beds. This is a 2025 model. The dimensions are 541, 205 and 264. So 205 wide and 264 high. Wide and clean water. We have 100 liters of clean water for 70 liters of wastewater. The refrigerator, which is compression, we said 70 liters. The heater heats water. It's a gas combi. It's a Combi 4 from Truma with the iNet X control, the size of the rear bed. So the bed, once it is pulled out, is 192 long by 140 wide. So they're also big strong point for this 541 is the size of the bed. Because at 140 wide, I am 5 min 41, but it is rather rare. Often we have 120, where we have beds in any case, which are not 140 over the entire length of the bed. The dinette bed, so the bed we made at the bottom, it at the farthest point. So when we have the little feet precisely in the niche, we are 175 long. When we have the feet in the niche, we said if we push the bed inside 150, so for a child up to 150, it will be fine. 461 wide, the equipment of it therefore multimedia, reversing camera, everything that is necessarily cruise control, centralized locking, the safety pack therefore, which includes the rain and brightness sensor and the recognition of panels, electric step, the door mosquito net, the gel battery. This is a 130 amp for those wondering. We have the ventilated skylight, so the Fiamma in the shower part, and we added on it a wooden shower grating to avoid when we enter in the toilet part to put our feet directly in the tray. What about this Freedom 141, pardon? We arrive at a price of 6,615 euro TTC. Let us know in the comments what you think of this 541. We especially love, we love the implantation, which is really different. We presented it at the Campervan weekend for the first time in France. It was the first Freedom that touched French soil. It had a great success, so you were a lot to tell us that it is a development that you like. Is it something you expected from the manufacturers? And well, there it is done. A manufacturer offers it to you, so be careful. You will not have. No possibility of rearranging everything in the sense that it remains a vehicle made by a manufacturer. There are factory options. We are able to provide you with these factory options, such as the battery change, the heating change, etc. But if you ever say to yourself, I don't want a cupboard in the kitchen, I want a big piece of furniture. Since we are on a manufacturer who still makes series, it will not necessarily be possible. So there you go. But in any case, it also allows us this series, in fact, from Freedom to have a price which is rather contained, because we know that with a developer, well, necessarily the prices can soar a little more because we are not on the series. So here we have a more contained rate. If you want more info, then do not hesitate by mail, commercial, camping, carcass.fr or the phone. We remain reachable, and we say see you soon in the next video. Good use, good trip. Bye bye.